This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
What's up, real MVPs? Ricky Widmer here, and welcome into another edition of the Onside Kick right here on MVP Sports. I am joined with my co-host, my partner in crime for today, JD, the Don of MVP Sports. JD, how we doing today?
Doing great, dude. It was a hot one today.
Glad
to be inside.
You're all red you're as red as a tomato. Rudolph's coming early.
Yeah, coming to town.
I will say you're not as shiny as you were before. I don't know why you were getting, because you're like, before we started, hey, let me go get some water. I don't know if before we started you put some aloe vera on your face, made it look a little bit less red. A little bit of water on your head.
Yeah.
So we're down to the final podcasts. I shouldn't say final podcast. We're going to keep podcasting. But JD, we've been on a journey. We've been previewing the NFL coming into this NFL season. We're almost there. We've got one more division and then our previews, and then we're good to go. It's time to play some football. Pads hitting pads, and let's leave it out on the field. So this is our NFC West preview, the last divisional preview that we have to do. If you're new to how we do things, we're going to start with the last place team. We're going to go all the way to the first place team. What? And we're going to tell you what we think. What? And then you're going to love it and comment down below. Yeah. Because that's always what happens here at MVP. Before we get into everything, though, JD, what do we got to do?
Housekeeping.
And now we do that. We tell you what's going on here at MVP. Number one, if you want to join the greatest community in the universe, Discord, link is down below. If you want to check out our sponsor for today's show, BETUS, link is down below. We'll hear from them later. Number three, if you want to support us, Patreon, that is also in the description with all of our social media links. Also, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Let us know what you guys think in that comment section. You can find the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. And JD, if you want to hear myself or you say words like, then you can go ahead and check us out on Rumble right now. I won't go ahead and do the whole. I won't let you do the whole spiel.
We don't need to do that all again.
It was a special time. I told one of our Discord moderators, Retro, about it. He was laughing. I was like, say words like, and say words like this. And you want to know the funniest thing about it, since that episode is now up and live by the time you're seeing this? I said in that intro, if you want to hear JD say words like, and then the two swears that happened in that episode were from me, not you.
Yeah.
If you want to hear JD say those words, and you didn't even say any of them, I did. I dropped the two F-bombs in that episode. So I kind of found that funny. But check out our links down below and comment down below with what you guys think about this division, if you're any of the fans, if you're not. But JD, we're going to start with the last place team from the NFC West. And that is the Arizona Cardinals. How we start out is, what did they lose in free agency? What did they gain in free agency? And then we kind of start our discussion from there. Cardinals didn't really lose a lot. So they lose Carlos Watkins. He's with the Rams. They lose Ezekiel Turner. He's with the Niners. Antonio Hamilton is now a Falcon. Leka Fotu is now a Jet. And Marquise Hollywood Brown is now a Chief. That's it. That's all they lost to free agency. What did they bring in free agency? They bring in Marquise Haynes. They bring in Marcus Bailey. They bring in Kyrus Tonga. They bring in Chris Moore, Zay Jones, Evan Braun, DJ Dallas, Mac Wilson, Bilal Nichols, Sean Bunting, and Jonah Williams, and then Justin Jones. They bring in a lot more than they lose. Oh, add on to that, rookies like Trey Benson, running back, Isaiah Adams, right guard, Darius Robinson, defensive end, Elijah Jones, Taylor Demirison. You bring in Mac Melton, and then the biggest one, the one I've waited till the end, just a generational talent in Marvin Harrison Jr. JD, this is a Cardinals team that I will be completely honest. I do not think they'll be competing for wild cards. They will not be competing for divisions. In your mind, what should the goal be, or what should the expectation be for the Cardinals? Should it just be, hey, Kyler Murray, I need to see stuff from you now because you got a generational wide receiver and you got a little bit of help on that offensive line, and with Trey Benson being the backup? Or is this just a, hey, whatever happens, happens. We reload next year in the draft. We keep getting Kyler weapons, and there's no pressure really put on the short one in Kyler Murray?
Yeah, I think you nailed it, because I do think it is a little bit of both. Because Kyler, I know you weren't really a big fan of him
No.
at all.
Still not.
But yeah, but I do believe in his first 2 or 3 years in the league, he was good. He was good to decent, or decent to good. So now I think this season is going to be all about kind of reviving his career, because I think this is his last chance. If he gets hurt again, unfortunately, or he just doesn't play good, then I think his time in Arizona, at the very least, is going to be over. But yeah, I do think you should, if you're a Cardinals fan, you shouldn't go into this season with high expectations, obviously, because your team still has tons of holes all over it. And even the offensive line, sure, you brought in Jonah Williams, who he'll definitely help. He might have had his best season last year at right tackle, so that is a plus. And you signed him to a pretty decent contract. So that's good. But yeah, the season should just be about reviving Kyler's career, like I mentioned, getting Marvin Harrison Jr. To look like the player he was at Ohio State, and just be competitive in the games you play. Don't get blown out every game, and just show fight and show your fans that you are on the right track to becoming a good team again.
Because, like, this isn't a team, and I will say, it's a team that is fairly young. You've got a young quarterback, you got young wide receiver, young pieces all around. And it's also a team that is, so Jonathan Gannon, head coach last year, took over for this team. He's now entering year 2 with this team. It's kind of like you're not in the position the Bears are in. Like, don't think you're the Chicago Bears where all the hype is around you. Don't think that you are the Texans of last year. And I'm not saying Cardinal fans are going to think like that, or the Cardinals themselves are going to think like that. But I just kind of think to myself, hey, just let the season be a year-long ride and just see what happens. If this team only wins 2 games, well, guess what? They only win 2 games. It all depends on, how does Marvin Harrison Jr., how does he play? How does, like, the big one to me is, how does Kyler look? Because after this season, you're at least stuck with Kyler for 3 years. 3, if not 4 years left on his deal after this one, to where it's like, hey, and if I'm not mistaken, give me a second. If I'm not mistaken, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, this is actually year 1 of the new extension. He signed the new extension. He was getting paid, what, $2 million last year, and now he's up to $37 million. So you at least got him for this year and 3 others. That 5th year, there's a potential out beforehand. You got to see what you got from him, because you gave him the money. You're at least going to have him. It's just, hey, now that we got you a generational talent, how does that do? What can Trey Benson provide as the backup in this system? Behind, what is it, James Conner? Trey McBride had great strides last year as a tight end for this team. And then the pieces that they have on defense, I do like, to where it's like, this team might not win a lot of games, but the big question, like you asked, will they be competitive? And I will ask you, do you think they'll be competitive in a lot of games? Or is it like, yeah, they're a 3-win team. They kind of snuck up on 3 teams, obviously, why they got the wins. But other than that, they weren't really that good.
No, I actually do think that they will be competitive. I think they'll have a lot of close losses, maybe one possession losses because of them being young. Because again, I think their offense is actually decent just with the addition of Marvin Harrison Jr. and I do think Kyler will play better. But yeah, like even like the offensive line is, it's not great, but
Mm-hmm.
you got pieces there that will definitely help you be,
Yeah.
I would say maybe middle of the pack, maybe just below middle of the pack. So I think they'll score a lot of points. It's just a matter of stopping the other team or having those key scores, not just garbage time.
And staying healthy. Keeping
Yes, and
Kyler
staying healthy.
healthy, more importantly.
Yeah.
Really, I'll be honest, that's kind of like the Cardinals are the easiest team in this division in my mind. It's kind of like, hey, low expectations, come in, see what you got, keep building on next year. That's all it is. Like, this is a
Yep.
team that is rebuilding. You guys are not ready to compete. That means we're going to bring on the next team, the Seahawks. Go right into it. What did the Seahawks lose in free agency? Well, they lose Tremaine Antrim, Jake Curhan, Jamal Adams, Artie Burns stays, Devin Bush they lose, Mario Edwards, Evan Brown, Quandre Diggs, Drew Lock, Bobby Wagner, DJ Dallas, Will Disley, Cody Parkinson, Jordan Brooks, Damon Lewis, to name everybody that they lose. What do they bring in? Well, they're bringing in. Ooh. Okay, that's weird. So it says Tremaine Antrim, they lost him to New Orleans, but then it says they gained him from the Rams here in Spout Rack. I don't know. That's confusing me. Tremaine Antrim, lost him, got him back apparently. Laken Tomlinson from the Jets, LaVisca Chenault from the Panthers. They bring in Kevon Wallace. They bring in Jonathan Haskins, Nick Harris, Pharaoh Brown, Connor Williams, Tyrell Dotson, Jerome Baker, George Fant, Rayshawn Jenkins, and then they re-sign Leonard Williams and Noah Fant, who were on the team last year. This is a team that surprised last year. I'll say this. They surprised a year ago where Geno Smith led this team. He was very, very surprising for this team, how well he played. They have the running back, Kenneth Walker, with Zach Charbonnet behind him. You also got DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett. How big of a jump will Jackson Smith-Njigba make this year? People are looking on him to like, hey, can you be that third wide receiver? And then this defense where it's like, yeah, you bring back Leonard Williams. You bring in Byron Murphy the second. You bring in Tracy Knight in that linebacking. But to me, that's the big question of this. The offense should be fine. It's the defense continuing to move out of the LOB era. And we're no longer looking at the Seahawks team as like, wow, they are phenomenal defense.
Yeah, and that's so not even just that with with the offense. So you have the starters too, like you mentioned, like at the wide receiver position. But I was also just looking too, even if guys, because like DK hasn't always been healthy, same like Tyler Lockett. You also have LaVisca Chenault coming in or not coming in, but on the team.
Coming in from the Panthers as a free agent signing.
Yeah. So as a backup, backup quote in quotation. He is a very solid backup. I mean, he could start on a lot of teams, and you also have Jake Bobo, who he flashed last year. So I actually really like their depth there. But yeah, the defense. I mean, this team they had a sneaky good offseason. I feel like not enough people are talking about the Seahawks. Again, I love Byron Murphy out of Texas. I think he could have a very big season for them this year. But their defense is just good in general. Leonard Williams obviously is good. Their secondary, they got Tyreek Woolen. who will hopefully take another jump this year. Devon Witherspoon will hopefully be healthy and take another like a second year jump.
Hi, everybody. Just want to take a quick moment out of today's podcast to tell you about our sponsor for today, BETUS, a sports book that has it all, whether it's basketball, hockey, football, soccer, whatever you like to bet on, BETUS has you covered. And they are offering our viewers and listeners today a 125% sign-up bonus just for using our link down below in the description. So go ahead, use that link down below and get your 125% sign-up bonus, BETUS. And now, let's get back to the podcast.
I think with Seattle, a lot of it on the defensive side of the ball is going to be, do their young guys kind of, I don't want to say like, does their maturity increase? But like, because like it makes them sound like they're just like all immature and not great.
I mean, I will interject here, and you bring up immaturity. Now, I know that training camp fights are nowhere. Some of them are like, it's no big deal. It's just people getting under each other's skin. But when you bring up immaturity, there was not too long ago, as we're recording this on August 15th, of like, a week ago, DK Metcalf was seen on NFL Network. They were at Seahawk camp, swinging his helmet, and he swung his helmet at his own teammate, cornerback Trey Brown. Like, there are some times where it's like, you know what, training camp fights, they're gonna happen. But like, to me, does that kind of play into it of like, maybe there's a little immaturity on this team, and it may take head coach Mike McDonald some effort to say, hey guys, we can't do that. We can't swing helmets at our own teammates.
I agree that you shouldn't be swinging helmets at your teammates, but I honestly don't think it's that big of a deal.
Okay.
At least not yet. If it becomes like a trend where you're just hearing issues from Seahawks practice or camp or whatever, then obviously
Mike McDonald, I do want to say, entering his first season as Seahawk head coach.
Yeah. So he has to develop that the respect of the locker room and also be the coach and make sure he gets his guys in line. But I wouldn't be worried right now. But yeah, like if they're young DBs / just young defenders can play mature, so not get overwhelmed by the big moments of the game.
Yeah.
And just play good, or at least what you would expect from a young player, then yeah, I think this team will be honestly pretty good. Probably not a contender, but I think they'll be pretty good.
I will say the thing that's tricky about the Seahawks is they're a team that was on the edge last year. So they finished 9-8, which was also the same record as the Packers. The Packers had the tiebreaker. And like, you look at the end of the year for both of these teams, basically it came down to the Packers won their last 3, beating Carolina, beating Minnesota, beating Chicago, whereas the Seahawks beat Tennessee, lost to Pittsburgh, and then beat Arizona. Literally, it was one game that could have went the other way for the Seahawks, and they would have been in the playoffs. And it kind of makes me think like, this team has the talent. They have the talent to make the playoffs. It's just, will they? Will they make are they going to make the playoffs? There's obviously, like, with the NFC, there's a little bit of jumbling this year. I think that both you and I agree, out of the two divisions, the NFC is the weakest.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. You look at the AFC and you go, oh, the favorite is the Chiefs. And many people go, yeah, they deserve to be the favorite, but the Ravens can beat them, XYZ. Oh, the Bengals can beat them, XYZ. And nobody bats an eye. Whereas in the NFC, if you were like, oh, yeah, the Niners are the favorite. Oh, the Eagles could beat them. It's like, okay, maybe. The Cowboys, whoa, pump the brakes, brother. All right, what about the Packers? Let's pump the brakes there. There's maybe two teams that I think are like right there at the top in the NFC, and it's the Eagles and the Niners. We got a lot of teams, though, that are hyped up. The Bears are hyped up this year. The Falcons are hyped up this year, to where some of these lower teams are now moving up to where it's like if someone moves, like law of attraction, law of physics, law of life, however you want to look at it, something goes up, something's got to come down. Every action has an equal opposite reaction. Laws of alchemy.
Smart guy, Ricky.
I mean, am I wrong?
No,
like,
you're
am
not
I
wrong.
Like, that's the thing with the Seahawks is can they compete with these teams that are going to be better? Mainly the Bears and the Falcons, who were behind them in the standings last year.
Yeah, I mean, I think they'll be able to compete with them. I still, again, really without tipping my hand, I still think the Seahawks are going to be at least a little bit better than both those teams. But yeah, just because again, they still have, even though like I mentioned, they have a young, I guess, nucleus. They still have some solid veterans on that team, which which I think will help give them the edge. But the big question there is with the rookie. I believe he's no, is he a rookie head coach?
Yes, he
Yeah,
is. Came over
yeah,
from being a DC with the Ravens.
yeah, yeah. I wasn't sure if he coached before or head coached before,
I
but
don't think so. Let me look it up. I had his Wikipedia in front of me.
But yeah, so I mean, with that, I feel like the rookie head coach, let's say for now, is going to be the biggest question mark with this team.
He's never been a head coach.
Yeah,
DC at Michigan, DC with the Ravens, and then linebacker and defensive backs coaches.
Yeah. So, but you still have Gino, and Gino's proven to be a quality starter over the last 2 seasons. So I think the Seahawks will be fine. I mean they should have decent expectations to potentially make the playoffs or maybe be like on that bubble of making the playoffs. But yeah, I don't think they'll be that bad.
Moving on then. We got the LA Rams. This is a team that, yet again, kind of similar position as the Seahawks to me. They used to be dominant. JD, cover your ears. Cover your ears, JD. Cover your ears.
No, I'm not. I gotta fight it.
They did beat the Bengals in the Super Bowl not too long ago. They are a team that has that Super Bowl pedigree, I guess you could say, but they're not the exact team. Like, it's almost like the Toby Keith song, I ain't as good as I once was. This team ain't as good as that Super Bowl team, but they weren't bad last year. Last year, the Rams finished, let me see, playoff team at 10-7. Let's get into what they lost. Let's get into what they gained before we go into them. So, what they lose, Austin Trammell, that's one. They lose Brian Allen, Tremaine Acham, Laurel Munchin. They lose John Johnson, Christian Rosebloom, Jonah Williams, Coleman Shelton, Jordan Fuller, and Carson Wentz. What do they gain? Well, they're bringing in Connor McDermott, Carlos Watkins, Jerry Jacobs, Troy Reader, Laurel Munchin, they kept the same. Reader, they kept the same. They bring in Boston Scott. They bring in Jimmy Garoppolo, Tre'Davious White, Common Curl, Darius Williams, Cody Parkinson, and Jonah Jackson. Now, the one thing I will say, 2 of the names I read off in, let me see here, in John Johnson and Christian Rosenblum. They did not lose them. They re-signed them. So those are 2 names I said they lost, but they didn't. They're still on the team. So I don't want anyone coming at me that, Ricky, you said they lost these 2 guys. They didn't. Tyler Higbee is on the PUP, the PUP list right now, physically unable to perform. They bring in a lot of rookies. You got Jordan Whittington. You have Bo Limmer, Blake Corum. All of those guys are backups. They bring in more backups on the via the draft in Tyler Davis, Brennan Jackson, and Cameron Kitchens. But they bring in two guys, Brendan Fisk and Jared Verse, who are going to start on that defense. JD, should people be looking at this Rams team? Still has Matthew Stafford, still has Kyron Williams, who was a effective runner last year. You've got Puka Nacua, who had probably the best rookie season that we've seen from a wide receiver in some time. Cooper Kupp coming back healthy. Is this the team that is going to challenge the Niners in the West?
No, I don't think so, because Aaron Donald retired, and I
Good
think
point.
that
Good point. Good point. I didn't even mention that they lose Aaron Donald to retirement.
yeah. So, and I and this isn't no hate towards them, but I think that's going to shock the. I mean, I don't know if shock's the right word, because obviously players retire all the time, but I feel like the veterans on the team are really going to feel that loss. Like, oh man, Aaron Donald's not here no more.
I'm telling you, a lot of onus is going to be put on Braden Fisk.
Yes.
Braden Fisk, like, it's going to be a thing of like, okay, big boy, you're stepping into some big shoes. There were some big shoes here. Big shoes.
Yeah.
Real big shoes. Real big.
And that's the thing. For somebody who hates Florida State, I mean, Braden Fisk and Jared Verse are two very good draft picks by them. That was a very good draft from them. But again, I know a lot of people have unreal expectations for rookies, and it's hard to be a rookie defensive lineman or edge rusher defensive lineman in the league. So I mean, maybe next year those guys will be proven, or I guess at least proven, I would say. But this year, just before the season starting, I think I want to be realistic about the type of, or about the skill that they'll actually bring to the team. So I don't really think, I don't think they will be competing for the division, or at least competing with the Niners or anything like that.
So I don't mean to tip pitches here.
Yeah.
But does that mean you're saying that they're, without giving me a, hey, this is my prediction, you're saying there's a chance that the Seahawks and the Rams do this year?
Yeah, there's a chance.
Where they flip. Because, like, I'll say this. We have our predictions coming out. You guys are seeing this on a Wednesday. They're coming out on Friday. And I will be honest that, like, there were a lot of divisions we talked about that were competitive divisions. I feel like both Wests are like, oh, we have the team that went to the Super Bowl last year, and then everyone else. Like, if the Seahawks or the Rams or even the Cardinals, if they are making the playoffs, it's going to be as the 8th seed. It's going to be as a wild card team.
Yeah, no, exactly. They're not going to. They're just going to squeak in.
Is there a chance? And yet again, I'm going to ask this just to be frank. Is there a chance that the Niners are the only team with a winning record in this division?
No.
Okay. Yet again, not trying to see what your predictions, but like,
I know.
Like, I just look at this and I could see where second place is like 9-8 or 8-9, and then like, oh, third place is like 7-10, 6-11, and then last place is like 2 or 3 wins.
Yeah, I mean, there's. I'll say this: there's 2 teams in the division who have the same record. So.
If we get to Friday, JD, and you tell me that the Seahawks and the Niners are going to be tied at the top, I'm going to lose it. I may lose it, but it could be the other side. Could be let's be honest, probably the Cardinals, and then someone else. Could they have the same record tied for last place? Like, I feel like both West divisions are not very strong.
Yeah.
And I
No,
don't know if I'm wrong or if I'm lazy or whatever adjective you want to use for thinking that.
I don't think it's lazy. I think it's correct. I don't. Besides one team,
Mm-hmm.
I like one team in each division. I think
Yeah.
that's the clear favorite.
Yeah.
But then the second place team in that division might not be that bad.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I do think it's really a one dog race.
Well, I feel like we're breezing by in this division. I'll be completely honest, JD. I feel like we're breezing by, but you mentioned that one dog, the top dog in this division. I will tip my pitch here. I don't think it's going to change. I think this team wins the division yet again. Let's look at the Niners. What do they lose in free agency? Well, Matt Pryor. They lose Ross Dwelly. They lose Oren Burks. They lose Isaiah Oliver. They lose Tayshaun Gibson, Randy Gregory, Clelin Ferrell, Sebastian Joseph, Ray McLeod, Javon Kinlaw, Sam Darnold. They lose Charlie Warner, Chase Young, and Eric Armstead. What do they bring in free agency? They're going to bring in Nick Williams, Matt Breida, Tracy Walker, Trent Taylor, Brandon Paca, Logan Thomas, Rakia Shin, coolest name, Ezekiel Turner. They bring in not Chuba Hunter, Chris Hubbard. They keep Chris Cooley, Isaac Yiddom. They keep some guys. They bring in Joshua Dobbs, Jordan Elliott, Yatur Gross-Matos, Leonard Floyd. That's who they're bringing in this year. JD, but they could make one big loss very soon. The big thing surrounding the 49ers this year, it should be, hey, you made it to the Super Bowl, you lost. How do you get back to that Super Bowl? That's what it should be, but it's not. The whole thing circling around this team all offseason, first off, it was, are they going to trade Debo or are they going to trade Ayuk? Are they going to trade Debo or are they going to trade Ayuk? Then there was something on social media, I think, posted from Ayuk's brother that he wants out. It's kind of snowballed now into Ayuk wanted out. He is not going to play for a team. He's going to hold out if he doesn't get a contract. What we have right now, August 15th, as we are recording this, JD, there is a deal in place with the Steelers. There is a contract offer from the Niners that is out there. That's where we stand. Ayuk can either go to the Steelers or sign the contract, or say neither. And we go back to square zero. The MVP curse is a thing, JD. Whatever we say now the opposite will happen by the time this comes out. Because we're recording these kind of earlier because I'll be honest, as this comes out, I'm going to be in Arizona. I'm not going to be here to record these podcasts. I'll ask you, does Ayuk stay? Does he go? Or does he say no and we're just in the square one all over again?
I think he's gonna stay because since this trade has been on the table now for what feels like, as we're recording, like a week, maybe a little bit longer.
Yep. There was at one point, they have deals with the Patriots and the Dolphins.
Yeah.
And that was like, no, they don't.
Yeah, and because the rumor was he wanted to go to the Steelers. Well, if he wanted to go to the Steelers and this deal has been on the table, what's he waiting for?
Contract.
Exactly. Because if he actually wanted to go to the Steelers, he would go so then he can learn the playbook and be prepared. He's not going to leave it till like a week before the season starts.
Yeah.
And then okay, yeah, now I'm going to go get traded. So I think ultimately maybe the offer by the Niners is going to increase, which is what he's waiting for. And then he'll just sign that deal because I mean, and this isn't me just being a Steelers hater. Would you rather go to play for San Fran, who's up here, or the Steelers, who are just mid to bad?
I mean, you're not even being a Steeler hater. That's just using your logic. This team literally went to the Super Bowl. They literally went to the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah.
They literally went to the Super Bowl, bro. I don't know what you're talking about. No skibbity. But they went to the Super Bowl. This is a team that is way better than the Steelers. Like Brock Purdy, whether or not, and I got a question for you about that Brock Purdy in a second, but like, yeah, I know that it's like, oh, you have Brock Purdy. Would you rather have Russell Wilson and Justin Fields? And they don't know who's going to start the season, end the season, if there's going to be a transfer of power where Brock Purdy's a reliable quarterback. Now, here's a question I have for you about Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
I was asked this last weekend while I was working. Coworker asked me, and I'll just shoot the question at you. Is Brock Purdy an elite quarterback?
No. I don't think so. I think he's a good quarterback, and it's impressive that he was a 7th round pick and turned his career into this. Like, good for him. I'm not taking that away. But I think we throw the word elite around for quarterbacks way too often.
Elite. He is elite.
Yeah, he's good. I think he might be what holds the 49ers back from winning a Super Bowl, though. Because you need in 9 out of 10 cases, you need an elite quarterback to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So
Patrick Mahomes, Matthew Stafford, Joe Burrow.
Yeah, I mean, well, that Super Bowl that was the one out of the one outlier, because I'll bang on the table that Burrow was the better quarterback that year. But I mean, yeah, Stafford still was no slouch.
Yeah.
I maybe, again, no disrespect to Nick Foles, but maybe the Nick Foles year when the Eagles won would be the actual outlier.
What would it be? Like Trent Dilfer when the Ravens won?
Yeah.
Back in like 2000.
So yeah, point stands that it doesn't happen often. Now, the Niners have done a fantastic job building this team around him and making it as easy as it possibly could be. But I don't know. I mean, they've lost some people. Like Kinlaw is a big loss for this team.
He's not going to be available until like playoffs at least, right? Because he injured himself with a torn Achilles in the Super Bowl. Isn't that like almost a year-long injury to like?
Really?
Yeah.
Because I thought he was going to be good at least by midway through the season.
I'm asking here. This is me asking a question, and research could be done because he was the one that I believe he was not celebrating, but like it was the second quarter of the Super Bowl. He went to go out, and he was likely will return from Achilles, but the question is when. When will he return this year? Will he have the same impact? Will he need a couple of weeks to rev up because he's not going to have preseason at this point? Like, he tore that Achilles in February. Like, look at Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers tore his Achilles at the beginning of the year, tried to play by the end of the year, and couldn't.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's still, in my mind, is still a decent loss, though, because again, he could have helped them.
Yeah, it is. That's why it's like, if he's not playing until the playoffs, well, you got to get there without him.
Yeah, no, but he's not even on the team no more.
What, Drake Greenlaw?
No, I said Kinlaw.
Oh, Javon
Kinlaw. Yeah.
We're talking about two different. I'm talking about Drake Greenlaw.
Yeah, that's why I was confused.
I'm talking about Drake Greenlaw, who got hurt in the Super Bowl.
Javon Kinlaw.
Okay, see that's where we messed up.
Yeah, okay. So I was confused. I'm like, I don't think he got hurt.
So I am right. Greenlaw's probably going to miss the whole year with that Achilles injury. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, also, we were talking about this at work. Like, not even Drake Greenlaw, but Trent Williams.
Yeah.
Also on the IR right now on the DNR list. That's not the dude. That's not the do not resuscitate list. He's not that far gone.
So yeah, because right now, looking at this San Fran team, I would say their biggest question mark is probably their offensive line. They've lost a lot of pieces over the years.
They bring in Donovan Pooney to be probably their starter at right guard.
Yeah, but
via the draft.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's unproven. I don't want to say they're going to be good or bad just because it's again, like I said, it's unproven. So,
Mm-hmm.
but that's my biggest question mark for this team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I mean, like this is a stacked team. The only questions for me is Ayuk still gonna be here? I don't know. I wish I had an answer. I wish I had even a prediction of like, oh yeah, no, he's gonna leave, or oh no, he's gonna stay. I don't know what he's gonna pick to do. Trent Williams, Dre Greenlaw, when do you see him this year? How well are they doing? Brock Purdy, to me, he's good, but he's not elite. I agree with you. I think it's more of Shanahan's system than like, hey, this is all on Brock Purdy. But yeah, that's kind of how I feel with this one. And like this, let's be completely honest. We're not tipping a pitcher, but 49ers are going to win this division, no?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, pretty easily.
Unless a catastrophic injury happens, this team is going to win this division.
Yeah, absolutely. They have all the pieces needed. Even if Brandon Ayuk, let's say, holds out, then they have Ricky Pearsall who can step in as a rookie.
They are really high on Pearsall, by the way.
Yeah, he's been amazing in training camp.
Which makes you happy.
Yeah, because I loved him. I was high on him at the start of the season last year.
I wonder why you were high on him. I wonder why you were high on him, Mr. Gator Chump.
When I did my preseason big board, I had him on there, and you're like, oh, you only have him because he's a Gator.
Yep, and then I fell in love with him because his name's Ricky.
And he grew to be a first-round pick.
So, JD, here at the end of the podcast, I'm going to make a special announcement. You know how last year big boards were just yours? Mock drafts were just mine?
Yep.
This year on the draft room, we're bringing it back old school. We're going to our roots here. Mock drafts and big boards will be on the podcast for the draft room this year. So every time we have a mock draft, I'm going to bring one to the table. You're going to bring one to the table. We'll go through our picks. We'll talk about it. Big boards are the same way. I'm going to have a big board. You're going to have a big board. We're all going to have a big board. Because of that, big boards will be top 30, by the way.
Yeah, we got to cap it off.
Yeah, it'll be well, that way it's like sectioned off at 10, 10, 10.
Yeah.
Just like the draft is like, oh, top 10, then 1 through 20, and then through 32 or whatever it is. I think we like tack on 2 extra picks in that last one. But yeah, so I feel bad. I feel bad because every single division, I feel like we've had conversation here. This seems like a cut and dry division.
Well, this and the AFC West as well.
But at least we had Patty Mahomes to talk about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
but really, if
I feel bad for anyone coming into this division that like maybe it's just me that we didn't give them enough. You
no, but because they like think about maybe if you're a fan of another team in the division, sure. But if you're like a Niners fan, then this is probably the best case scenario because besides injury, you should go into the season knowing that your team is 99% chance of actually winning the division, and that should make you happy. And again, you just made it to this, or you just came out of a Super Bowl appearance, and you know, you lost some pieces, but we're not saying, oh, well, there's no chance that they don't get back.
Yeah,
there's a very good chance they get back to the Super Bowl next year.
Good point. Well, that's going to do it for this one. I feel weird. This is the shortest one we've done up to this date. This is where you guys come in down below in the comment section. Let us know what you think about this division. Did we miss anything? Is there anything that we needed to add? Let's continue that convo down below in the comment section. Hit that sub button, that like button. Check out all of our links. BETUS, Discord, sub button, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all of our socials, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. You can also follow us on Twitter too. I'm at Ricky Widmer. JD's at JD Numbers.
3445 or 3450.
3450.
Yeah.
Is that what it is? 3450?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Don't you also have that like it's the D with like a slash through it? No?
No.
Okay. I thought your Twitter
No.
account had like a D with a slash through it. But
I'm not. Oh yeah, I'm a cringe or edgelord.
yeah, you're an edgelord. You have that character that nobody knows how to type.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're one of those guys. But let us know what you guys think down below. JD and I will be back in 2 days with our predictions. We're going to go through each division. Hey, this is what it is. This is what it is. Talk, talk. This is what it is. This is what it is. Talk, talk. Prediction 2 days. Then I'm back from Arizona. JD's still here. We're podcasting every Wednesday. And then it's football season, baby. Can't wait. Can't wait for this season. Football is upon us. JD, next weekend, well, as the time they're watching this upcoming weekend, we got college football, baby. Let's go. College football on the 24th. First Saturday of the year. Let's go. Florida State, Georgia Tech. Let's go. Gonna be watching it from Arizona. What?
Okay, I'm glad you continued because I'm like, let's go Florida State. I'm like, I don't know about that one.
I don't know. They're gonna beat Georgia Tech. No,
I hope not.
No, I know you don't, Mr. Chompers.
No, but Georgia Tech, man, no, they're riding recruiting momentum.
Oh, that's gonna do it for this one. We'll be back with our prediction in about 2 days. As always, have a good day, everybody.
See ya.
As always, we'd like to thank the people that make these videos possible, our patrons whose names are displayed on the screen now. If you would like to become a patron, go ahead and click the Patreon icon in the bottom right. And if you'd like to check out another video from MVP Sports, hit the video in the upper left. As always, thanks for watching.